channel or welcome back to my channel. Hello? Okay. Why are you up here? My name is Andy, sometimes Mouse, and I talk about books and book-related things, and today I'm giving you my May wrap-up, and I guess Cotter's joining for part of it. This is my dog. If you're new to my channel, this is my dog, and she's old. So you know what? I don't know why she's up here, but here we are. May was an interesting month. I read about as much as I expected to, actually, but I did not. I thought I would finish things more quickly and that I would have more read outside of my TBR, and I didn't. But that's fine. It's because I dislocated my knee partway through the month, which I just didn't feel like reading. I was in pain. So I did not read as much as I was otherwise reading when not dislocating my knee. But let's go ahead and get into the stats of this video if she will allow it. Let's go ahead and get into the stats. I read a total of 21 books. For pages read, it was 1,844. For audio hours listened, it was 184 hours and 1 minute, and that as days is 7 days, 16 hours and 1 minute. My average page per day to finish a book, or I guess rather, I don't know if that math is my average page to finish a book or my average pages per day period. I'm pretty sure it's just the average pages per day. Anyway, is 93.6, and the average hours is 8 hours, 39 minutes, and 51 seconds, but you have to remember that I listen to my audiobooks between 1.5 and 3 times speed, so that hour is what the total audiobook actually is. It's considering that and not it at the speed that I listen to things. I don't actually sit and listen to audiobooks for almost 9 hours every single day, okay? I don't do that. I have meetings. I have so many meetings, and I have to film things, right? So anyway, my average rating for the month was a 3.7, which is not too bad. I did have some not so great books that I read this month, but I had some really great ones, and I think that they balanced themselves out. I purchased one book, and it was a total of $10.71. I checked out 11 library books, which saved me $158.55. I reread 3 books. I listened to 16 audiobooks. I read 4 ebooks and 1 physical book. The intended audience of those books were 15 adult books, 5 young adult books, and 1 middle grade book. And the genres, which I should have a mid-year update on my book blanket soon, so look forward to that. I'll hopefully have a video on that soon. I'm very excited to talk about this year's book blanket because I love her. She's so much easier than this guy back here. But I read 7 fantasy books, 4 thriller books, 6 horror books, and 4 general nonfiction books, which is an increase on the nonfiction that I guess I had been reading. I'm just glad that I'm still reading at least 1 nonfiction book a month. That is still my goal, and I'm glad that I'm still doing it. So that's the stats, though. Short and sweet. Let's go ahead and talk about my top books of the month and then my worst book of the month. Actually, I want to talk about my worst book of the month first, and then we'll talk about my top book of the month. Okay, so talking about the worst book of the month, I actually have 2 of them this month, and that's going to be Eden's Children by V.C. Andrews. For those of you who don't know, anything published after a certain time, and I don't know the time, is no longer written by V.C. Andrews. She's dead, but they're still publishing under her name, which I have my own feelings about that are not related to this book. I think it's weird. Stop doing that. But there is a guy who writes under her name. Don't even get me started. And his plot lines are generally, they involve familial relationships in a way that is inappropriate. It's a lot of sexual thriller horror, and it almost always notoriously involves children and taboo relationships in some way between children. And right? The Flowers in the Attic is by V.C. Andrews, and it is a book that I read as a kid, and I enjoyed that book. I've read that whole series. I've read the books that she didn't even write that added on to that series, and it's fucked up, it's dark, but I enjoyed those books. To say that is hard to say. I wouldn't say they were a favorite book or anything, but I enjoyed them. Anything after V.C. Andrews passed away and was published by somebody else seems like they're trying to recreate the shock that Flowers in the Attic had, and they don't do it well. they don't do it well. It almost seems like they enjoy those kinds of relationships instead of pointing out how morbid it is. And also, every plotline doesn't need to be around that. And so Eden's Children by V.C. Andrews is just that plotline again. And I found that really frustrating. And I also think that it's almost disrespectful to V.C. Andrews, who's no longer here, to be writing such shitty thriller books under her name. Like, I think that's fucking disrespectful. And to take the same trope from one set of her books, like a lot of her books, I think all of her books, are domestic thrillers. They all involve familial relationships in some way, but they're not all like this. There's family secrets for the most part, but they're not sexual. They're not all sexual. They're not all like this. That was really just the that really was just the Flowers in the Attic and a few other books that I've read, so I could be wrong. But to take her most popular series and continually try to recreate that shock and horror by just regurgitating the same taboo topics is not the way to do it, and I think that it's disrespectful to her, especially since she's no longer here. And maybe that's out of pocket for me to say, I don't know. Maybe V.C. Andrews was a terrible person and she deserves it. I don't know. I don't know any of these things. That's just how I personally feel. I had high hopes for this book based on the summary, and then when I read it, I was like, oh, it's just that plot line again. Okay. The next worst book of the month is The Myth of Normal by Gabor Mate. I think it's Mate. The reason that I didn't like this book is that two reasons. One, it posits itself as a researched book based on fact versus regurgitating a lot of other people's studies that I've already read, and also it's based a lot on feelings. And I feel that our society is X, Y, and Z. And I feel from what I've seen from my clients, but like none of that is a backed study other than the things that you're just regurgitating that other books have done and didn't need 700 pages to do it in. This wasn't 700 pages long, but it was really long from what I remember. For no fucking reason. I had issue with that. The second thing that I had issue with is it's like, yeah, our world sucks. We're not given the opportunity to listen to our bodies when they tell us no. Everything's bad. Actually, if you're a woman or a person of color, like there's actually no hope for you to ever have good health, good mental health. It's always gonna suck. It's always gonna be bad. It's actually no surprise at all that people have all these chronic illnesses. Bye! Like there is no real guide to managing any of that. Quit your job and become a farmer. Like there's really no help. So like if you're gonna have a book that isn't gonna just be here's science-backed data that's interesting, or even this is what I've seen from my clients, are you helping them? Because it sounds like you just make them depressed if this is what you do. But then the other thing is the advice was like, write down every time, like, where am I not honoring that my body is saying no? Like, where am I saying yes to things that my body is saying no to? A lot of things. What do I do about that then? What do I do about that then? Because that's not sustainable in this culture, in this environment. And yes, I understand it's a conversation about how our culture and environments should change. But also, I don't like a book that you're not based in fact, and then you're not going to give any advice for the bullshit, depressing nonsense that you've said. So I'm just fucked then. Like, if I can't honor every single time that my body says no, but I physically say yes. Also, as an aside, as someone with PTSD, my body is constantly saying no. And it's wrong. It's just having a trauma response. That doesn't make it correct. That doesn't make it... Like, if I listened to every single time my body said no, I wouldn't leave my house ever. And I'd stop talking to everyone I know until I got so depressed that I'd off myself. Like, that's not sustainable for people who've had panic attacks since they were 6. Me. Hi, I've been having panic attacks since I was 6. Like, that's my body saying no. To what? I was 6. To what? I was anxious at 6. about dumb things that weren't real. I have PTSD. The things that my body says no to are not logical. They are not based in fact. They are not based in reason, and they should not be listened to every single time. There are times where my gut reaction and my gut no is correct, but a lot of the time it's not. I'm scared to get my car inspected. Bestie, do you think that that is something I should not listen to and then just drive my car around without a new car inspection? No, I should not do that. Also, a lot of the advice was based in cognitive behavioral therapy, which that kind of therapy does not work for me. That kind of therapy is like, where are you being unreasonable about this? Like, no, when I'm in a state, I can't rework my thoughts. We're already in a state. Like, you need to get me down. And I never liked CBT because it felt like gaslighting, and I was coming from a place of trauma, did not need to feel more gaslit than I already did. So CBT never worked for me. DBT worked miracles for me. But anyway, so I had a lot of grief with this book, which is unfortunate because I had really high expectations. And maybe that's my bad. Maybe I should just stop having high expectations. And this is what I get. Yeah, I say that, but I've read so many books about mental health from non-medical professionals, and they reference studies and tell stories in such a way that I come away feeling like I learned, that I have resources to reflect on, that I can check back on to see, like, what did this study say? What is this reference to? What is it for? Oh, that's something new to me that I've never heard before, and it wasn't in the Body Keeps score. And actually, we didn't reference the Body Keeps score at least 6 times per chapter in those other books. I'm just saying. Maybe I just should stop reading mental health books from mental health professionals who shouldn't be writing books. I don't know what the answer to that is. It's very tricky because I want facts, but it seems like people just be saying shit. Anyway, let's talk about my top books this month because I read some really, really good ones. It was actually really difficult to keep a small list. It was really hard to keep a short list of these. So first up, we have Gorgeous Gruesome Faces by Linda Chang. That was a body horror book with K-pop inspiration. It was very good. I enjoyed it a lot. While it isn't a series, I believe, I'm not going to be reading the additional books because I actually liked the ending of this book and I'm good. Like, I'm good on the story here. However, I was texting Ozzy, like, you need to read this book. This book is very what the fuck. The whole time I was like, what the fuck? Like, the very first chapter of the book, like the prologue, and this isn't spoiling anything, the prologue has some girl like peeling her own skin off and being like, that's not my face, that's not my face, that's not my face. Bitch, what? What the fuck? It's really good. It was a really good book. Then we have The Reappearance of Rachel Price by Holly Jackson. Holly Jackson, your mind. You're so smart. Holy shit. In this book, Girlie's mom went missing 16 years ago, and they're doing a documentary about it. And then Girlie's mommy just shows up. She just shows up at the front door. She's like, hello, bestie. So what happened? Why did she disappear? And why did she come back? What's going on with that? Family secrets. Fake VC Andrews, this is how you do them. Holly Jackson, incredible. Her mind. The way that she ties ends together, fucking incredible. She also said, oh, you guys don't like how Piper, isn't that her name? Whatever, her main character in the Good Girl's Guide to Murder books. Oh, you don't like how she became slightly unlikable in the last book? You don't like that? You didn't like it? Well, here's a completely unhinged main character. Get fucked. Like, Holly Jackson said, oh, cool, fuck you. Like, and I love her. She's unlikable. She's mean. She's feral. We love her. She's like, I don't let people get close to me because they'll probably disappear like my mom. Bestie, get it. I get it. Talks about the trauma of court and all of that. Incredible. Amazing. Truly. She did a great job. And the next one of my top books is Alcatraz versus the Evil Librarians by Brandon Sanderson. This is a middle grade book. It is a middle grade plot. It is middle grade writing. I was curious to see how Brandon Sanderson would do middle grade writing because his books are like this long and like, buddy, middle grade. I don't know, I say that, but I read a lot of long books in middle school in that age group. But anyway, I digress. The writing style of this was just really fun. It follows Alcatraz. Turns out that there's this whole thing of like evil librarians who want to keep the real history away from people, and like actually our world is like really behind on science and technology because we actually have access to all of these other things, but the evil librarians have kept it from us. And like he comes from a long line of people who can do magic-y things and he didn't know, and his superpower is like basically being bad luck, which is so funny, and he like learns to make it his superpower. I love that for him. Just the writing style was really, really fun. I enjoyed it a lot. I think I'll probably read the next books in the series as well. They're not very long. Again, I had fun. It was fun. I hadn't read a lot of fun books this month. It was a lot of horrors and a lot of just like big chunky books. So this was a good like break from that. But that's it. Those are the worst books and the top books, and you got all your stats. So that is my wrap up for May. Let me know in the comments down below if you've read any of these books, if you have any thoughts. Have you read V.C. Andrews' original work and then the other work, and do you have thoughts about that? Just curious. Let me know. And by the time this comes out, I believe CLEARURSHT will be going on. So are you participating in my readathon? Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear about it, how it's going. Have you bought books? Because you're not supposed to. It's like the only rule. Okay, the only rule is do whatever you want. But the second rule is, but don't buy books. You know, that's like 1 and 2. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and share and comment. I appreciate it. If you didn't enjoy this video, let me know in the comments down below how I can make it better for you, unless it is my opinions. I'm keeping those. I like those. I post videos every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, except for the first full week of the month. So I will see you guys on Thursday. Don't forget to take your meds, drink your water, and do something today to take care of yourselves. Okay, thanks. Bye.